This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey, it's Party Loaded time. We are back to chat about video games. My name's Luke Retallick. It is Tuesday, the 7th of June. This is episode 29, and the party is all here. We have Imogen. Hello.
Hi, friends.
We have Jam.
Hi, friends.
And we've got Ollie.
Hello.
Somewhere, if he's not distracted by games and music and videos and all sorts of stuff.
All of the above.
Awesome. All right, we have his undivided attention. So speaking of undivided attention, Imogen, you were sort of throwing your undivided attention at all of the news doing the rounds today about the Warcraft movie premiere. Are you hyped for it?
So hyped, and I'm a lot more hyped now that I saw the premiere. I mean, it's not your typical premiere red carpet, let's just say that. But it definitely was very Twitterized. It was all over the tweets, and most excitedly, the actual Leroy Jenkins was in attendance. And if you've never played World of Warcraft, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but believe me when I say he is a legend.
Yes. You should Google or look at YouTube and search for Leroy Jenkins. And
This is the one with 6 billion views or something ridiculous.
Yeah, something insane. And a Hearthstone card basically named after him, which is super awesome. So the guy looks like a dwarf, though. I was shocked. Like, he looks nothing like what I thought.
He's so on brand. I'm so happy that he looks like a dwarf.
Oh, no. So as soon as everybody, lines up to enter the theatre, he's the first one in the door.
Yeah, exactly right. Just runs to the front, smashes the screen.
Yep. Nice.
God damn it, Leroy.
Yeah, I'm super torn
Every
about.
time, Leroy. God damn it, Leroy.
I'm super torn about this movie though. Like, it's one of those things where I just know that the fandom is going to buoy my experience no matter what. But like, every other sort of Telltale sign is sort of screaming at me, this has got every right to not be a good movie. But I just don't know how it's going to pan out. So
I'm so cautiously optimistic about this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's going to kick butts. And I think you're going to enjoy it for the same reason you enjoy Marvel or DC or anything else. It's a world that you subscribe to and that you enjoy and that you spend time in. It's relevant to you. I think you're going to love it.
Yeah, the Marvel movies were actually decently made at the same time as well.
This looks amazing. Have you seen Blizzard cinematics?
Yeah, but this is not Blizzard.
This isn't Blizzard.
No, but they're expecting a quality. It's still their property.
I'm not holding on my breath on it being good. I want it to be, don't get me wrong, but I'm not expecting
It's already
it to
good
be.
in my eyes.
That's a problem.
Do you guys actually have any sort of favourite video game to movie translations? Can you think of any that have really worked well? Like, I struggle on that topic.
Video game to movie, no.
Yeah.
My absolute guilty pleasure is the first Tomb Raider movie.
Oh,
I
really?
actually quite like it because it's so dumb, but so fun at the same time. And they made everyone American play British people, and the only British person play an American person, and he does the worst accent, and it's so goddamn hilarious.
Wasn't Sean Bean
I
in
don't
that?
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
the
Daniel
guy.
Craig as well, and
Yeah.
he did the worst American accent I've ever heard.
Sorry,
I
Jane?
don't mind a couple of the Resident Evil movies.
Yes, I like the
They
first
were
one.
fun.
Yeah.
They were fun, the first couple.
I don't know, Resident Evil is such a diluted franchise now. They could literally do any story involving Umbrella Corp and zombies and it'd be considered canon. So, it's become this weird, filtered down kind of, pulled out of the drain kind of weird mess of
Everyone sort of just shrugs and goes, T-virus?
Yeah, pretty much.
Done.
That's it. No, cool. All right, well, there's some good stuff to look forward to. Like another week or so out, and E3's just around the corner as well. So this is kind of nerd Christmas at the moment. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, lots of news. We probably kick in with some news tonight. Actually, straight off the bat, what do you say, folks?
Sounds great.
All right, so
You're the boss.
Yeah. Well, let's start with some bad news, and this is one that I know Ollie's going to be really disappointed about. So, a little while ago, I think it was 12 to 18 months ago. I'm a little hazy on the exact date. There was a really fantastic gaming trailer that sort of was released in secret amongst a lot of mystery and secrecy, which, as it turned out, was actually a preview for what could have been the next Silent Hill game. So the teaser, sort of nicknamed PT, which is playable trailer, basically hit the internet with a storm. A lot of content creators and YouTubers sort of got on board creating content, sort of showing it. It was a really, really sweet trailer. Ollie, I know you played it and really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was super cool. And then the game got cancelled. So we know all of the history around the Konami controversy cancelling Silent Hill and Kojima's
Western Fox and Firefly.
Exactly. Hideo Kojima sort of being involved with Guillermo del Toro, and that never sort of coming to pass. Everyone was really disappointed. Now, there was a company around that time that started working on a game called Allison Road, which was basically along the same sort of lines, like a really creepy sort of suspense-driven, story-based action-adventure thriller game. And it was very much looking similar to PT, so much so that it was dubbed by a lot of people as the spiritual successor to PT. But we've just found out this week that apparently Allison Road has just been cancelled.
That fills me with sadness.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
One less scary game you guys are going to make me play.
Well, it was also a nice step forward in graphics as well, because both PT and this had some fucking phenomenal graphics. Like, pretty much photorealism, essentially.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
That's a shame.
It was a fan project, though. I mean, it wasn't like a big, AAA studio was behind it or anything like that. It was certainly no Konami, behind the engine there. So it was always on a little tenuous ground to begin with, but it really looked like, especially from the content that they released online, and they actually had like a playable sort of demo level a while back, didn't they? I remember having a fiddle with that.
No, they released a video of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a playable one. It was more just a walkthrough.
Yeah. So yeah, they actually had a Kickstarter, which late last September, I think it was, where they were actually partnering up with Team 17, which is actually the company that developed the Worms series of games. But yeah, they just announced on their Twitter this week that it is not to be, and they haven't really released a lot of reasoning as to why. So yeah, it's a real shame. There's a real lack of good horror genre games these days. I think the only one I can think of in recent times that got a lot of positive press was you've played it, Ollie.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, that's the one.
That wasn't really that was horror, but yeah.
Well, it was tropey as hell, but it was still the same sort of genre. Yeah. Sad times.
Good.
Yeah.
I agree. I am sadness.
Yeah. So what else we got? So big sort of corporate sort of news this week with stuff happening with Vivendi. Are you guys familiar with Vivendi, the giant, now massive sort of gaming entertainment, electronic entertainment sort of entity?
Yes, of course.
So Vivendi's a massive company. If you do any sort of research behind, who they are and what they've been involved in over the last sort of decade, you'll notice some big names such as the Universal brand, Universal Music. They're sort of all owned by the Vivendi Group. And Vivendi have been sort of dipping their toe into sort of, acquiring large electronic entertainment businesses, and have been slowly taking over Gameloft, which has been a bit of an unsolicited takeover. They've not been real keen about Vivendi sort of, acquiring the majority stake in their shares, because they're sort of worried about their independence being lost in terms of how they develop games and that kind of thing. It looks like Vivendi, having acquired Gameloft, is actually potentially in a position where they could buy Ubisoft in the same manner. So if that was to happen, Ubisoft is actually currently the world's third largest independent video game company. So if that acquisition was to take place, that would probably be the largest video game buyout in history. So,
oh my God, it's like nerdy version of Suits.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Yeah. I mean, we don't hear about these giant sort of corporate takeovers very often. I mean, the only other one in recent history was when King was bought out by Blizzard Activision, I think. That was last year. The makers of Candy Crush. It was pretty big in the news at the time. A lot of people wondering what the heck that was going to mean, whether we're actually going to start having like match 3 games taking over some of the Warcraft IP. And there's always a big question mark over this kind of thing, like whether existing franchises are going to be watered down and what's going to happen to the brands and that sort of thing. Ubisoft in particular, I think, have not had the greatest year with a few things. Not a week goes past where we don't hear about a new controversy.
I would challenge that.
All right, go, Imogen. Why would you challenge?
Well, you have a particular bad taste in your mouth because of The Division, but I don't think that means as an organisation that they're necessarily doing badly at all. They're still Ubisoft. It was still a very successful game launch, even though now, and they're still releasing things. And today they announced an announcement in typical Ubisoft fashion. So they're going to be announcing Watch Dogs 2 on Thursday, and today they announced that they were going to announce that. Which is what
Meta
they always
as
do,
fuck.
which is hilarious, but it's just a way of sort of drumming up hype and getting people actually to tune in. They must have been worried that people weren't going to. And I mean, again, Watch Dogs, not the most successful game that they've ever released by a long shot.
Surprise it's getting a sequel.
Yeah, surprise it's getting a sequel, but still sold quite a lot of copies. Still, in terms of monetary and investment wise, still a successful game. It's just that the community after playing it went, could have been better. So I don't think it's fair to say that they're not doing well.
I think it had all the hallmarks of a console launch title. That's pretty much the issue there. So it was extremely undercooked in the rushed effort to sort of get it out for launch, essentially, is the sense I got from it at the time.
Yeah, but as an organisation, they're doing just fine.
Oh, yeah, monetarily, I don't think there's any argument there. I mean, as much as a weekly train wreck as The Division seems to be, they're still making mad amounts of cash from it. So, yeah. And now they've got a Division movie apparently in the works with Jake Gyllenhaal potentially playing the lead, which as soon as I saw that, I was just like, okay, that makes a bizarre kind of messed up Ubisoft sense, but it still seems super weird. I don't know. But it's a setting they could easily translate to the movie genre. Really.
Yeah. Modern day city, apply grime and body bags.
Yeah, exactly.
We are done.
It's not like a whole bunch of other Clancy stories haven't made it into, the cinematic realms in the last couple of decades. So, yeah. But yeah, if you're interested in any of that kind of, corporate level video game, super business, giant company acquisition sort of stuff, this is pretty big news, just to put it in perspective. So you should check it out and have a look at what's going on. Other sort of not so big news, but still fun stuff. Telltale Games has had a bunch of updates this week about various different bits and pieces. So it looks like The Walking Dead Season 3 is kicking off in summer this year, or close to. Before that, we're going to have the new Telltale Batman series, which they're working on currently.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm really intrigued to see what they do with that.
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give Telltale any more of my money until I finish playing one of their games.
So, Imogen, are you still playing Minecraft Story Mode?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm ready for episode 6.
Sweet. Well, episode 6 is coming out this week.
Yay!
So there you go. Now,
I got to
I'm
catch
excited.
up.
I think that this is super interesting because what they've actually done with Minecraft Story
No
Mode
spoilers.
episode 6. No, I'm only going to release the information that's on the trailer. I haven't played it yet, all right? So settle down.
No, but the trailer, I'm still episodes behind.
Oh, no, the trailer won't wreck anything story-wise up to this point.
Right.
It's a separate adventure altogether.
Okay.
So,
Oh, cool.
one thing they've done with the newest episode, which I think is absolutely awesome, and I know my 5-year-old son is going to agree. 5-year-old, 6-year-old. I should know the age of my own kids. My 6-year-old son is going to agree.
Dad. Yeah.
So my 6-year-old son's favourite YouTuber is a guy by the name of Dan Middleton, otherwise known as Dan TDM, Dan the Diamond Minecart. And he and 4 other famous Minecraft YouTubers are actually going to be appearing as characters in the new episode.
Who are the other ones, do you know?
They've got Captain Sparkles as one of them. And the other 3 I don't recognise, but you can see them in the trailer. They've actually captured their likeness in Minecraft form, and they've done all the voice work for their own characters and all that sort of stuff.
Didn't Tycho and Gabe Pennycard come out and say that they were going to, but then they got cut or something like that? I remember something a long time ago. It might have been the original 5 they were supposed to be in, maybe lending their voices or something to something, but it didn't quite make it for whatever reason.
Don't know. Well, they've got another 2 episodes to go, so they could be doing any other sorts of wackety, community-driven stuff as well. They might even have, some of the Minecraft team lend their likenesses to future characters.
Stampy Cat.
Yes.
Stacey Plays, Dan TDM, LD Shadow Lady, and Captain Sparkles.
Yep.
So, firstly, if you are under the age of 15, you know all of those people. And secondly, you should not be listening to this podcast.
Oh, look, they can. In fact, tell all your friends and get them to download it.
Yeah. Just don't tell your parents. That's all we are.
Yeah.
Just don't be us, guys. Don't be us.
But yeah,
Make good choices.
it looks like the
school,
episode
kids.
is going to be a murder mystery sort of theme of some sort. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but that sounds really cool. Like you actually have to deduce the culprit of some sort of crime or something. So
It was Jamie.
yeah,
She's the werewolf.
probably was.
Bringing it back.
Yeah. But that's super cool. What else? We got Blizzard stuff, so it wouldn't be an episode of our show without some sort of Blizzard news. So
We already talked about Blizzard news.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But why not have some more?
why not have some more?
just
Why don't we
layer
ladle it on thick?
Yeah, we are now
what's happening
party loaded
in
Blizzard.
what's happening in Overwatch, Jamie? What's Blizzard doing to
Banning
banning?
the bad people.
Good, Jam, good.
I can word.
She read the thing.
I read the thing. I don't know a lot about it. I've heard they're being extremely proactive, which is wonderful. So it's actually getting me reporting more bad behavior than I usually would.
I am
so that I
surprised
can
at how much
contribute.
bad behavior you guys are. Like they're like, and this, and then I realized that I have my swearing filter on, so I see everything starred, and assumed everybody else was as well. And it wasn't until the other day when something came up, and I was like, "Oh, I've never seen it used like that before." I'm like, "What? Like what before?" Someone had to explain to me what was going on because I had it all censored.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No, it looks like Blizzard specifically have started swinging the ban hammer in China because there was 1,572 players banned in China for reasons of using hacks, basically during gaming.
Wow.
And just to make it absolutely brutal as hell, not only did they ban those people, but they actually called out all of their names online.
Yep.
That's
they sure
wonderful.
did.
Yeah, public name and shame. That is absolutely full on. So, and apparently a bunch of them have actually attempted rebuying the game and playing again and reinstalling and, wiping and
Did
starting
not
over.
work.
And didn't work. Yep, banned again after a couple of days.
Hardware ID is a thing, people.
Yep. So, super awesome on Blizzard for taking cheating seriously and actually, making a public example of the people who aren't doing the right thing.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, cheating-
What? Sorry.
Yeah,
I coughed something.
There's definitely a
cheating
few companies
and-
that could take a leaf from that book. So,
Yeah, cheating and toxicity. I mean, honestly, everything was fine up until maybe the end of last week, and then it just escalated to like every match we're seeing just the most atrocious language. So I'm glad you guys are all on.
Most of our
your-
listeners will go, welcome to the FPS online community.
yeah.
No, I understand that, Ollie, but we don't have to accept it.
Oh, no, I agree. And I'm glad Blizzard is, doing stuff about it. But, yeah, it's the way it's going to be, etc.
Do you know what's really funny
Yeah.
though? I've actually personally experienced the opposite of what you just described, Imogen. Like I thought it was really bad up until about a week ago, and things have actually, in my experience, gotten steadily better. So there you go.
I honestly, I saw the occasional like get good or that was easy or whatever, which is fine. But until like the last week and a half, I had not. Like some of the language coming out of these 12-year-olds. Oh my goodness. Because I
Yeah.
assume everyone who does that on the internet is 12.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be an interesting approach to dealing with online anonymity. Like, I think anonymity needs to be a thing, but wouldn't it be great if everybody who was online actually had an indicator that showed their age? You could see if you are actually dealing with
Just lie
12-year-olds.
about it.
Or
Yeah, you
Like
can
you do
you
to
can
sign
easily
up to
lie about
Facebook
it.
or anything.
no, but I mean something that actually didn't allow you to lie about it. I don't know how the hell they do that, but
No, see, I'm
They
the
couldn't.
opposite. It doesn't matter what your actual physical age is. You behave like that, I'm going to think you're a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
You know,
that
and I'll
was
treat
kind of
you
my
like
point.
a 12-year-old.
Exactly right. you have the emotional maturity of a preteen.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Way to deal with life.
yeah. So these 9, 10, 11-year-olds, I get on with them great. As soon as they hit 12, absolute dickbags. Just that's how it works.
I have to say, like, I don't enter into it. Like, even when we're on teams with friends and things, they'll always sort of spar something back. And I'm like, why would you even bother? Like, I don't care. I'm never going to see this person again in my life and hopefully never again in the game. And majority of the time, the people who are swearing at us have lost. So I'm not really that bothered.
Fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, there was one other interesting bit coming out of Blizzard this week. It looks like they're actually doing a deal with Facebook at the moment, which is actually going to let players stream Blizzard games directly to Facebook. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
and
okay with this.
It's coming sooner
This
rather
is
than
the
later
end
too.
times, people.
Oh
This
man,
is
it's
the
bizarre.
end
Like, think about
times.
the impact of this. It's crazy. So, the immediate impact is going to be that people are going to be able to log into Blizzard games via Facebook, like you can for a lot of online services. You can sort of log in with your Facebook profile. But long term, they're actually looking at using the Facebook Live API to add social functionality to all of its games. So, and the first thing they're going to do is allow people to stream games directly onto Facebook, which that blows my mind. Like, Facebook as a game streaming platform, you got to wonder what kind of impact that would have long term on things like Twitch. Like, Facebook is already used by billions upon billions upon billions of people. So
Facebook is already killing Periscope. It's just hunting down online communities, trying to do a better job and kill them. That's what they're doing. If they do it better, fine. But if they are doing what they're currently doing with this autoplay and all of the other schmozzle, it just starts getting to the point now where everything I own starts being connected to Facebook. And it's like I have, my Facebook is separate to my online in terms of my gaming. So I don't know. I'm not sure about this. I feel like it's the end times.
it's a weird portent of things to potentially come.
Yeah,
so.
logging into Battle.net and it says like log in with Facebook profile is an option, and I'm just gonna nope right out of that.
Yep.
Nope. No one needs to see like Imogen achieved the following in World of Warcraft. Like 30% of my friends know that I play games, let alone play Warcraft. So,
But look at it on the positive side. You could have some of these people who are being toxic players in Overwatch, and you could link through to their Facebook profiles and leave them a nice little comment.
Yeah, that's why it's the end times.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a good idea at all. Cool. All right. Well, that's all for news today. So we'll just wrap that up there and move on to the next thing. Moving into our main topic for tonight, we have a very special guest joining us all the way from the UK. I was about to say the sunny UK, but that probably is a terrible lie. But I'll ask her if that's actually true or not. We have Joey Dalton from Creative Assembly. Hello, Joey.
Whoop, whoop. Hello. Hello and welcome. Thanks for the welcome.
It is very late evening for us and middle of the day for you. So are you actually calling from work, or are you able to do this at home in your pajamas or something cool like that?
No, I'm direct from work. I'm in what we call the broadcast suite, which is the coldest room. It's like 9 degrees in here, maybe colder. I'm freezing.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
All right. Yeah.
Nice. So, good. Well, you can chill out with us for a little bit if you like. How does that sound?
Literally. Pun intended.
We've done this before. You knew what to expect.
Also lighting here as well.
Doesn't
so,
make it okay.
Nice. Well, anyway, so Joey's on tonight to chat to us about everything Total War Warhammer. Or do you? I'm just going to put this up from the outset, and I'm sure you've been asked this before. Do you mind if we just say Total Warhammer for the sake of brevity tonight? Or is that on brand enough?
You can absolutely say it. You can say it. I have to say, and will say Total War Warhammer. It's ingrained deep within me now.
No, that's cool. All right. So we have lots to talk about. The game has just come out recently. I think we're, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like 2-3 weeks from main launch.
Yeah.
Not long at all. So Ollie and I have been playing it quite a bit. I've been rocking it hard for the last few days, smashing through with vampire counts, having a load of fun. So really keen to chat to you about that and basically everything that's going on at Creative Assembly over in it's Hampshire, isn't it? Have I got that right?
Horsham.
Horsham, West Horsham.
West
Right.
Wow,
Essex,
that is, they're not
which is
really-
Horsham, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not
Awesome.
really that close.
All right. I know the UK. No, Imogen knows the UK. I don't know anything about the UK.
Everything's close in England compared to you guys. Like, I only
Compared,
visited
yeah.
Melbourne and I realised how vast it was.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So we caught up at PAX Australia last year, where you were running the demos of Total War Warhammer at the CA booth there, and you were
We
pretty
did. We had a
busy.
selfie.
Well, yeah, we did a selfie. I look terrible. Don't look it up, please. It was really
I'm looking
bad.
it up
Do it,
now.
internet. Do it.
No, but I mean, I've seen some busy people at PAX, but you were running left, right, and center. You were doing interviews with the Twitch crowd and running through demos in the booth and chatting to folks like myself. And how was that weekend? Did you have a great time?
I did. I've got to say, PAX is one of those big events. I've only done 2, and that was my first one. But it's really lovely. But because it was so far away, and there were only literally me and another a woman who went from CA. We were then the reps for everything. We were trying to do all of the interviews, and obviously me being the community person, I'm on for streaming, there for press, and it was manic because normally we've got a lot more staff and people to assist, but it just wasn't like that in Oz. So I loved it, but there was no rest. None.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
sounds
It really
really
was.
I admire everyone who comes down and does one of those shows, like especially when you travel from that far away. That's a huge effort. So really appreciate you coming down. That was great. So now your official title, if I'm correct, is the Total War Community Manager. Is that correct?
Yeah, community coordinator is my technical title, but it's the same thing as manager, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, so there's going to be a bunch of people who aren't familiar with you and your background and that sort of thing. So can we just kick off with a little bit of an intro and maybe chat about what you did that got you into sort of the spotlight with Creative Assembly and brought into the team? How did it all get started?
Memory lane, yeah, I'm down for that. Well, I mean, I've been at CA now for 3 years, but as far as wargaming goes, especially tabletop, I'd say that's about 5-6 years ago is when I started. And it was I went into a games workshop one day when I moved from, not far by your standards, of course, but when I moved from Kent to Devon, and I was very busy playing, some MMOs and all of that stuff, and I didn't have a social circle there. So I kind of walked past a games workshop, went in, had no idea what anything was, but liked the look of some wood elves, and used forums for a couple of weeks to try and figure out what to do with just a box of sprues. Made a video about it to try and explain to the forum people what I was doing, and then the video and the channel kind of picked up from there. It was really driven by what I was being advised to do, what the next steps were, till ultimately I started to go to tournaments. I covered the ETC where I met you guys actually back in Poland. Yeah, it's been a really weird journey from waitress in Devon, interested in tabletop wargaming, to now the voice box and face, so to speak, of the PC version of that game.
Yeah,
amazing,
mental.
I think there's a common theme sort of with yourself and a lot of people who've sort of fallen into roles like this, though, and that's that a lot of them have gotten involved in creating content and doing it regularly and just getting it out there and eventually sort of getting noticed. So it's definitely, a pat on the back for the work that you've done, basically just sharing what you're passionate about, and people have obviously noticed, which is awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, I really hope that was and is the case for a lot of people, because you've really got to be, I mean, when I first started, it's certainly not that way now, but there was almost no female YouTubers that kind of covered that tabletop thing. And that wasn't why I got into it at all. As I said, it was to get help more than anything from the internet. But then it was, I think, kind of seen as a bit of a bigger deal that I didn't realize it was. So, I had to be quite vigilant with some like, why are you here kind of questions. But once I was just like, because I'm interested, why are you here? And combated that, it kind of became just a bit of a, well, she's just a bit odd. Let's let her join in. It's fine.
She doesn't know she's in here, guys. Just everyone chill out.
It's fine.
Just play along.
No. The first video that I ever watched that you did was exactly that ETC sort of video that you did, where you did a whole bunch of interviews and catch-ups with the different people at the tournament. And, it was a huge wake-up call for me to sort of see the diverse range of, opinions and positionings that you could take on an event like that from, the outset of all genders and, ranges of experiences and that sort of thing. You didn't necessarily need to be a wargaming professional or an avid sort of tournament pro to go and talk about that sort of thing and be watched. I think, people really enjoy the layman, approach to looking at the hobby, and that rung a bell with a lot of people. So it was really good.
Thanks. And that's still definitely where I'm at in the tabletop circles, is I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning, but a lot of the lore stuff has come to me through this job and just interest in the novels that the Black Library do. And I love it. I've got to say, I love Warhammer. Warhammer Fantasy Battles is where my heart is.
Nice. So I guess Creative Assembly being a video games company, that lends the question of, have you also sort of grown up being a fan of video games, or is that something that has maybe come later to the party as secondary to the wargaming interest?
No, always into gaming, but I'd never really thought of it as a thing when I was younger either. It was one of those, I played Doom when I was 6 in my dad's work when he was in the army barracks. I had no idea what it was. I was terrified of the game, but I learned all the cheats and got really good at it. And it's, I had DSs and Game Boys and all of that kind of stuff. So as I was growing up, I just did it by myself. It wasn't something that I really shared with. And I think that's what I missed, is that sharing collaborative environment in the gaming industry that is now such an important thing for me that I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
I just gamed because I liked it.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess we can fast forward a little bit, and you brought on as the community manager community lead for Total War at Creative Assembly, and gotten involved with all of that, which sounds like a dream come true. You were ecstatic when you got the call up. Did it happen fast?
No, well, kind of. It was. I got an email. I got two actually. I got one from Will Overguard was one of the previous community coordinators, and this is back for Rome 2. And I got a Twitter DM from this guy, like, really like your videos, send it in your CV. And I was like, what? Looked at his profile, saw that it was a legitimate Total War thing, and thought, no, this is lies. Then I saw another email sent to my YouTube account from my now manager, Craig Laycock, also saying the same thing. So I sent in my CV, which was, rudimentary at best, because I hadn't had that much professional experience. I mean, bearing in mind, I have 2 children and my son is now 8. So back then he was, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So didn't have that much job experience, certainly not in the corporate world and not in this industry. And thought, well, why not? I'll send it in and see what happens. And then I ended up totally forgetting about it. Got a call for an interview just before I was about to go to Adepticon back in 2013. Went to Chicago, came back, didn't hear a call for ages, and then that morning I was really jet lagged and got a call from one of the HR people from Creative Assembly saying that I'd left my scarf in the office. So I got all my hopes up, completely dashed by the scarf story. And then she said, "Oh, you got the job, by the way."
That's fantastic. Ever.
I was so over the moon and so excited to just, see where this would take me, and here I am. This game's been in the making for a long time, but I was always hired for Total War Warhammer. I was working on Rome 2 and Attila, but it was always building up to this point. So I've now got quite a couple of years experience in this community management to bring me forward, and hopefully they will feel that they're loved by Total War, which they are. I love them all.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. So the actual environment in the office with the team and how you all work together and that sort of thing, how does the collaboration actually work? Do you have a lot of involvement yourself personally with some of the games designers and artists and developers, or are you sort of very separate and kind of just cross paths as colleagues in the office but not really in each other's pockets? How does that actually work?
Well, as far as CA goes, I mean, the Total War team is large. So we've got, I'm kind of in the marketing section, so I'm a little bit on the offside, but I have to speak to and communicate with the dev team, and that's all departments really, especially post-release of a game. So now is one of those times where I'm constantly feeding back to what people are saying, what their complaints are, what their thoughts are. And even if it's just general feedback, that's all going through to them. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of the messenger in that respect. But, it's an open office. There's not really that closed off feel to it. I can easily go and talk to some of the designers or the artist or the animators and just say, this is something that we've had through. And of course there's the chain of command that exists anywhere, but it is quite friendly. There's not anything too bad that would stop me from being able to pass feedback on, for example.
Oh, cool.
So speaking of chain of command, so Games Workshop is one of the strongest guarded IPs out there. Did you have a lot to do with them during the game's development, or did they leave you to your own devices? Or
well, we constantly and do now, with stuff like artwork that goes through to them when any models are painted or done or designed. Those I don't know what they're called, ZBrush models. They'll be passed back and forth. It has to be on point on lore. So they have a great deal of involvement in what I feel is the perfect way. They have all of that insight, all of that deep lore knowledge, which is why I think everything ties together so well in the game that you see now that you can play. It's all on lore. Everything looks right. Everything feels right. It is Total War Warhammer. And I love that. We work closely with them, and we've got one of our writers actually is Andy Hall, who used to work for Games Workshop, who did a lot of writing in the game.
He's a familiar name. I certainly know him from way back. He hasn't been involved with Black Library, but I think he's done a lot of work with their
codexes and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I call him Lore Master Andy. It makes him blush every time.
Put that on your resume. That'd be great. With the lore in particular, because Warhammer did go through a massive shift not that long ago. How has that affected like the production and promoting of the game IP wise then, considering that massive changes happened with the Age of Sigmar?
Not at all, actually, because Total War Warhammer is pre-end times, so it's any edition. It's not just 8th or whatever. It is pre-end times, and so what we've done with the game kind of doesn't really link to where they are now with Age of Sigmar, because what we've been doing is just, as I say, that pre-end times period. So yeah, we've run through everything by them lore-wise to make sure it works, but it hasn't really affected anything for us otherwise.
Okay.
So the community, in particular, I think of, kind of got a situation where a lot of them have been involved in Warhammer for a while and sort of remember what we'd almost term as the good old days. And then you've got the new guard as well. So have you had a lot of questions around whether Age of Sigmar content was ever considered, or was it just never, ever in the ballpark at all?
We've had lots of questions about it, but I mean, the answer for me has always been the same. It's, pre-end times is what we've kind of got IP-wise, and that's what we focus on. So as far as the new people that have come in, now that the game is out, we've had a lot more pickup from, the more tabletop community, who I don't think really maybe knew about it, maybe knew about Total War coming out with the game, but not invested enough to kind of follow it as such during the campaign, where we were showing everyone these videos and the new races as and when, because we kind of had a structure of showing a race at a time rather than everything in one go.
Yeah.
So after the game's been released, we've had a lot more people like, oh, you know what? I really loved 3rd edition or 5th edition. That was my peak time. I want to pick it up to remember that. And, that's what it's been really good for, but more now afterwards than I'd say kind of before.
Yeah, definitely mashed that nostalgia button for me as well. I'm like, oh, it's all the things I remember.
Oh, it's the best version of Warhammer, for sure.
So being a tabletop gamer yourself then, were there any of the actual in-game mechanics or unit balance that were like tricky to put into the game itself? Like translating across from the tabletop to the digital, essentially? Was there anything particularly challenging in that regards that you were aware of?
I would say, I mean, obviously I'm not on the dev side, so what I know tabletop wise that is complicated is stuff like magic. That not only, we've got a lot of descriptions in the books, in the army books, but we don't have really any visual representation of what they are. So, magic's hard to do, and especially at the moment, some spells, since we've just released, need to be balanced and stuff. Spirit Leech is one of those at the moment that we've got that is quite OP presently.
I was just using that today. I'm glad you said
yeah,
that.
right, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've been on the receiving end of it.
Not surprised you found that one, Luke. Not surprised.
It is. It's really tricky. I mean, used in the right way, it can totally annihilate some characters, but that's that's standard process. We always have that kind of tricky balancing at points, but really a lot of things work really well. I'd say what I noticed that I imagine would have been hard at the beginning was how the races work, because dwarfs compared to vampires are so drastically different, not only in the timings of how long they can actually be in combat for, because the dwarfs rarely rout. When I've been playing, and I have been obviously a lot, I've really had such great success in dwarven battles because, they will push and push, but vampire counts can crumble quite easily and need to be in close range of their legendary lord or lord. Otherwise, they're going to suffer the crumbling really early on. The gameplay between the races is so different and varied. I found that must have taken a lot of time, thought, and process to implement that to the point that it is now, which I think is just a perfect balance. With the greenskins having this wild mechanic as well. That's awesome. I love it. I love being able to tell this other orcish army just to go and assassinate and, take some other settlement while I'm chilling in the bag. I love that balance.
Underlings.
Go forth, my minions.
Yeah.
Go forth. So magic is one of those things that's really difficult. And of course there's no dice rolls, which determines a lot of the outcome in tabletop. So that's all the kind of back end mechanics, AI mechanics that we deal with. But aside from that, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of under the hood stuff that needed to be done.
Yes.
So yeah, on the note you were saying your love of dwarves, has it been a race that's been particularly well received by the community?
So I was having a look at kind of what armies people are playing at the moment, and it's Empire, and that is shocking to me. Shocking. This is Total War, and you're picking, and they've all previously been historical, and you pick an empire for the men. I mean, they're awesome, varied. I love me some Demigryph Knights, but
they were the best.
Gorgeous. But totally the first and most enjoyable race for me to stream with, which, you know, compared to, I'm much more of a peaceful player. I like my diplomacy, but for fun streaming, greenskins are the absolute best. They're so much fun and crazy. And I would have thought, but they're actually one of the least played.
Oh, wow.
At the moment. And that really surprised me. But, you know, Vampire counts and Empire are right up there. But Empire's kind of winning.
That is bizarre. Maybe it's the traditional Total War players as opposed to the Warhammer fans that are picking something that, you know, approaches what they may be used to with some of the other games.
Closest point of reference, etc.
Yeah, everyone likes to be the good white knights, and from what I've seen of them, it seems to be fitting with that trope fairly well.
Yeah, possibly. Like, I must admit, I'm playing with the vampire counts in the game at the moment, and I vacillated between the choice of the Empire or the vampire counts. And the only reason why I went with VC was because that's what I played in Warhammer, you know, back in the old days. But Empire were attractive because they have actual missile weapons as opposed to vampires having none. So yeah, I think it's a legitimate choice for a lot of people. Yeah. The thing that I've really enjoyed watching over the last few weeks has been the huge amount of, you know, video content and, you know, people who are on Twitch streaming sort of games of Total War and all that sort of stuff going on. And, you know, I imagine that's something that's probably pretty close to your heart in terms of, you know, where you've come from prior to sort of joining up with Creative Assembly. What sort of impact has that had on your job? Like, do you actually see a change in the way that the company deals with this kind of new media, like dealing with content creators and YouTubers and streamers and other influencers? And what sort of impact has that had on the way that the game has sort of, you know, gotten out in the open and sort of reached a wider audience? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's actually part of my job. That's a big part of it, actually, is to incentivize people to want to stream, to keep an eye on people that are maybe interested, haven't touched much Total War in a long time or so. But yeah, you know, even over the weekend a couple of weeks ago, I'd send some of our content creators that we know of, as well as some that we know a little bit, to be like, you know, whoever gets the most numbers or whoever wants to do this, we'll send you something to give away on your channel. And yeah, managing those relationships is a big part of what I do. So, and making a lot of new friends. And oh God, I've made a lot recently. My my Twitter numbers, I think, went up about 300 to 400, maybe nearly 500 followers in about a month.
Wow.
Just as a result of the embargo, the review lifting, when all the press and the YouTubers could post their impressions just before we launched. And that whole 2 weeks there was absolute mayhem of people being very interested in wanting to stream and obviously looking after those channels as well to see how they grow and how they develop and whether more people join in for the Warhammer one. So it's been crazy in making sure all of the bases are covered, because not only have I had to look into what other people are doing, but also manage our own streams, which for the most part I've been in all of them. So it's hectic, still hectic.
So given that it's a less traditional approach to sort of, you know, getting the version of the content out there that you maybe want the audience to see, has that been challenging in terms of some of the people who might have taken it and shown a less than favourable impression, or has it just been universally not an issue at all?
Well, that's just the nature of, you know, if you want to give a code to someone, they're going to do what they want with it. They're going to post whatever impressions that they have. And all that I can do is really give as much information as I can to them and to our audience, and make sure that, especially before we launched, you know, at points when we were showing videos, it would be pre-alpha, it would be beta, and to relay that and what that means, that's also a really important part of my job. Is, look, this is alpha, for example, this is not where we're at yet, but this is where we're going to be. And I think most of the video footage, if all of the video footage that we've shown over the course of the campaign, has reflected that now in the game being released, regardless of where it was at the time. You know, we were always building up to that point.
Yeah.
But as far as outreach goes and whatever their opinions are, it's always good to have a varied perspective and opinions, and provided that they're constructive, I have no issue with it, really.
Yeah, well, that's fair. So now this is the point where we try our darndest to squeeze you for a little bit of info about stuff that might be coming down the pike. So Total War, I've read, has been sort of billed as, you know, a 3-part release. So this is the first installment in a trilogy. Have I got that right?
Yes.
So how is the trilogy actually going to look and feel functionally? Are we looking at this being a trilogy of sort of downloadable content packages, or is it full game releases, or is it sort of like the way the narrative is being spun? How does that actually fit together?
Well, so what I can tell you guys about is kind of where we're at with this and what our future content with the first installment looks like. And then I guess you can kind of see then how the followings would go together. But as the logistics go, I'm not able to kind of tell you guys or show you guys anything because, some of it I don't know myself.
Yeah.
But what we've got right now is 4 playable races and 5 including the Warriors of Chaos, Empire Dwarfs, Vampire Counts and Greenskins. And we've got a blog currently on future content, free OC and DLC. And that's what's going to cover off us now, I guess, until potentially the next installment. And we've put that up there. And this is something that we've never done before as Total War. That illustrates generally what type of content you can expect. Not exactly what it will be, but what type it's going to be. And, that's new. We didn't do that previously. And it was... it's a good indicator for our audience to kind of gauge what to expect. We've got an image that has about 9-10 little slots, and it says new unit is next, new hero is after, new magic lore, following that new legendary lord, new hero, new lore of magic, new legendary lord, new playable race, new lore of magic, and a new hero. So that's detail that we've never really gone into before at all. And that's our free OC alone.
Wow.
Nice.
So, yeah, the rest of it we talk about what is in a Lord pack, what is in a race pack, what is in a campaign pack. But that's just for this installment. So there's a lot. There's a lot to come.
Absolutely. It's almost like a Games Workshop release schedule over the course of the next year. Models coming out every other month. It's super cool. So the armies that people are using will evolve and change as they add bits and pieces and try out new strategies and things like that with both the in-game campaigns and against their friends. So it's capturing pretty much that same sort of feel that the tabletop players would have, which is wholly appropriate, I think, which is great.
Well, we're looking into building some more tournaments based around the multiplayer, because that is, as you say, what Warhammer is about. It's about playing with your friends. So I'm going to look into doing some more of that over the next coming months also to see what we can do and hopefully tie that in around some of the future content.
Nice. So let's sort of look at some point in the future where Total War Warhammer has sort of evolved into whatever it's destined to be, and you personally are sort of moving along to the next big project with Creative Assembly. What would you love to see CA do in the future from the perspective of something that you would love to be involved in besides Warhammer? Is there something else that you would love to dip your toe in, a franchise that Creative Assembly might get involved in that would really call out to you? Is there something you'd be keen on doing?
Well, I'd say from a totally personal perspective, and I'd love to see something like Game of Thrones related. How cool would that be? It wouldn't be anything like Warhammer.
Yeah.
But I think that would be such an awesome idea. But then, I'm totally watching it right now and still reeling from last episode. So on the top of my head, that's definitely a cool one. Just because I think the environment's awesome. It's still, I could say stuff like 40k, but imagine the complete overhaul that would be. That's different looking for anything that Total War has done before. But I think Game of Thrones could work.
Yeah, it's definitely got the diplomacy elements already in it, and there would be, ways that you could work. Yeah, no, I think that would be cool. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
But I'm all about merging stuff. I was doing Game of Thrones themed Lizardmen army back in 2012. I still have my Tywin Lannister.
That's fantastic. The best. Oh wow.
So this isn't a new desire for me. I've been wanting to merge something with Game of Thrones for a good 4 years now.
That's amazing.
That's what the hobby's all about. It's about taking new and inventive ideas and combining them to have your own unique spin on it. So that's perfect. So
yeah, totally.
Has there been anything like that's come out of the creative community or anything, while you've been in your role that's just completely surprised the hell out of you? Like, anything that's been amazing from fans of Total War or Warhammer, any events that you've gone to where something really wacky has happened, anything you've been involved in charity-wise, what has actually stuck out in your memory?
there's so many things that completely match that description. I couldn't even pick one. I can pick one from the past 4 weeks.
Sure,
that
pick
fits
the most recent.
Basically, I was wearing Manfred von Carstein armor for a good day, handing out boxes to the entire Creative Assembly studio.
Wow.
And it was really loud armor. And it's not just like, it's, pretend. No, it's full leg plastic that looks exactly like his model armor.
Wow.
So loud.
Around.
Yeah, just clanking around, just handing out high kick editions to the staff. And then I did that for a picture that's on Facebook, actually, on the Total War Facebook page. That I'm, again, just standing in front of the studio in the armor with the sword in the air. And that's just standard work day.
That's awesome.
Why can't that be mine?
I have envy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually wondering if you or anyone else posed the idea of dressing as Isabella von Carstein instead at some point, because that may have been more appropriate. But then again, she doesn't actually appear in the game, so I guess you're kind of stuck, aren't you?
Well, there is Lady Vampire Hero, but aside from that, I mean, I'll go green for sure, but that's also not new for me.
Yeah, that's it. Your profile picture on social media is already showing that. Yeah.
That was in honor of Total War, but I did it recently for work, and I'm hoping to do it again. But it's that kind of silliness and fun that we see everywhere. I saw some amazing. One thing actually from last year was we went to EGX in Birmingham, which is another trade show, where there was a woman dressed as kind of Zinch, Sethorial, that model, the Lord of Change, but based off costume-wise, based off, I think, another game, maybe Warhammer Online. But that was such an intricate and beautiful costume. And she just walked over and was like, hey, I played a bit, I know about Warhammer, but I really love this costume and I'm a cosplayer. So we did an interview, and at the time we couldn't use it because there wasn't much that we could do talking about it, obviously not wanting to spoil it. That whole Lord of Change within the game. But it was really lovely to see, and it was such intricate detail on this costume, and she was an absolute delight.
Always blows me away when you see some of these costumes. It's just astounding hours of work that go into them.
Well, Joey, here's the next one on your list. You've got to get Jamie Lee Curtis to rock up at a Total War event dressed as an orc. Because she did it at the Warcraft premiere today, so I'm sure she'd be into it.
Well, after this, be right back. I'm just going to send her a message.
Yeah.
Tweeted Jamie Lee Curtis.
Some vicious name dropping there. Anyway, we should probably let you go because I know that you've got another interview to get to, and given that the game has only just come out, you are super busy, so thank you very much for giving us your time today. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, of course. I've missed you guys.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Well, always. Well, I'd love to see you down at PAX Australia at some point again in the future, and we'll all pop by and crash your party. And bring some of the West Aussie cheer over to meet you wherever you are.
You can join.
You better.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to share or sort of spruik just before we wrap up?
Well, we do regular live shows and stuff. If you're interested in seeing more about what Total War Warhammer is, who I am, and all of that jazz, have a look on the Twitch channel, Total War Official. Which is just the name there. You can pretty much see us or watch a past broadcast just to get a general idea. And hope to see you and speak to you guys soon.
Nice. Awesome. And we'll put a bunch of links in the show notes for everybody as well. Cool.
Yeah, I'll send you guys some over of some of the stuff I was talking about today.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much, Joey, and we'll catch up again soon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Joey.
Bye.
Cheers. Oh, Total War interview aside, we could probably talk about recent gaming, and Ollie, you and I could actually chat about our experiences with the game.
Actual Total War,
yeah,
yes.
the actual playing of the game. So, do you want to start, man? How's yours been?
Sure.
Trying it out?
So I've done a buttload of skirmishes more than anything else, because I wanted to see how each of the races function before I dick about with them in the campaign.
Yeah.
So that was good fun. So I tried them all out, and I ended up going greenskins for my or the orcs for my campaign.
Cool.
And can I just say, whoever decided that you can aim and pilot a doom diver in midair, oh my god.
That is what I saw on the video that I watched, and that looked fantastically amazing and just so kooky.
So for people playing at home who don't know what a doom diver is, what is it?
I will explain.
Yeah.
So imagine a ballista, but instead of firing a giant crossbow bolt, it fires a goblin, and that goblin has a pointy spiky hat on him. And he also has a pair of ramshackle wings, and so he flies through the air. and you can control this ramshackle flying goblin through the air and spear people with it.
Wow.
It's suicidal, but it's just so much fun. It's just the best.
Yeah, that wacky sort of slapstick kind of battle humor is all what the Orcs and Goblins are about. It's awesome.
I may have shot a vampire lord to death with one that I personally aimed. I was like, I'm going to kill you with this. Yes.
Wow.
It was amazing.
I have seen more than one traditional game of Warhammer on the tabletop end that way as well.
That's why I did it.
Yeah. Sweet. So the Orcs and Goblins, like, I haven't actually played with yet, but they've got a mechanic where they basically attrition if they are out of battle for too long. How does that actually work?
It's pretty much you just want them fighting. Like, they like punches. They don't like shooting arrows at people, and that being said, they do have siege artillery and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they are much more in your face, get in there, rather than just sitting back and having fiery skirmishes with arrows and cannons. No, you charge.
Yeah.
You are going to charge with Orcs. The end.
So as far as the campaign management goes, you're not going to be playing on the defense and fortifying cities much. You're going to be roaming around and killing stuff.
I'm pretty much just a marauding horde at this point.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What's your default view? Do you zoom out, like, high-level overview of the entire battlefield, or do you find yourself frequently zoomed in, looking at the, monster on monster
That's
fighting?
a great question. There's a lot of answers.
I alternate. So for me, I'll go zoom out, orders, begin. Okay, orders are going. Zoom in, are my orders being followed? This looks cool. Yes, they are. Hooray! Like, I'll always zoom in for a cavalry charge. So every time I do a cavalry charge...
seems like it would be very rewarding.
So good.
Yeah.
Savage Orc boys. Ball boys.
I can relate.
The best.
That's the best part, I think, about the strategy games is that opportunity to, like, put everything in action and then just watch it happen.
Yeah, and it's pretty common of the Total War series in general, because a lot of the games function like this. Like, you've got your actual campaign map where you plot out sort of the regions that you're attacking and trying to capture and conquer and control and that sort of thing. And then when the individual battles happen, you basically have it's almost like you're going into a different game mode where the battle sort of unfurls and you get to zoom in on the action at various different points. So, but I think that the big difference between Warhammer Total War and other Total Wars is that because you're talking about giant mystical creatures like giants and griffins and wyverns and huge winged monstrosities and that sort of stuff, zooming into the action shows you a lot more variation than like a traditional rank and file troops that are hitting each other. There's a lot more interesting stuff to kind of watch and look at. So
yeah, that's why I asked, because the detail I saw in the videos that I was watching were amazing, and just the way that they've programmed the individual units to fit the unit itself. Like, there were giant spider things or something, and they were walking around skewering people.
And the magic. The magic's another great example too. There are spells that, I'll just give you two examples. I haven't actually seen these myself in the game yet, but I've seen them in sort of preview videos. There's a spell that the Empire uses called the Comet of Cassandora, where basically the wizard reaches up to the heavens and does like a Dragon Ball Z spirit bomb kind of move where he just pulls the cards apart and drops a comet on them.
I lost a lot of big uns to that one.
Yeah, and there's an awesome green skin spell as well, which is one of my favourites, called Destomp, where basically they summon a green ectoplasmic version of one of the orc gods, and his foot just comes crashing down.
This one I am a fan of.
Yeah, it's so good.
Shocking.
Yeah, so that sort of stuff exists in the tabletop game, but you never visualise it like you do in this game. Like, it's all of the stuff that you would have pictured in your head playing with toy soldiers actually coming to life on the big screen, which is sensational.
So you guys are just like nerding the F out about
I love
stuff,
it.
which is it's so delightful to hear.
Imogen, I got to watch 3 Ragnarok spiders and a horde of boar boys just annihilate like 2 Empire regiments, and it was everything I wanted it to be.
I have to say, massive RTS fan, but never played a Total War. And whilst I know a lot of the models from Warhammer, I've never sat down and played like a full game.
See, that baffles me that you haven't played a Total War game, I should say.
Baffles me too. I think I probably have occasionally at LAN parties. Maybe.
Hey Imogen, what's a LAN party called in Australia?
No, that was my joke from earlier. It's a LAN down under.
You have to share it now.
to land down.
Terrible joke.
Zing! It went down like a lead balloon in our WhatsApp chat earlier today. I posed
As
the
it
joke.
just did now.
The chat was so busy all day, and so I posed the joke, and then everybody went silent, which is what happens when we know Luke's setting up a joke. I was like, oh no, I've become Luke.
What have I become?
What have I become? I'm a monster.
It's the true
no,
punchline.
but I watched lots of videos for Total War Warhammer and some other people streaming things, and what I really, really love about it most of all is you guys are so invested in the lore and so excited about it. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, those things are cool, and Ollie's like, yeah, it's a this, and this thing, and I'm like, whoa, what's this guy's deal, and why is he angry at these people? And you guys could tell me everything behind it. So that
It's
makes
like
me
you for
super
Warcraft,
excited.
basically.
Yeah, because it gives me a depth to the game which you would get from playing it, but maybe from the outset I would sort of not see it as a sort of surface and have to play lots of hours to get invested in it. But you guys talking about it and being excited about it makes me want to be invested in it.
I will say,
it's like me talking about Warcraft.
Just to put it in perspective, like I've played a bunch of the Total War games. Like I played Rome 2, Medieval. I think they're the only ones. But that's just, it's still a good variety. I love Rome Total War. That's an awesome game. Now
I love
all
anything
of that, aside,
that era
like,
in RTS. Love it.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I think Rome's the one I might have played.
Well, I mean, Rome's a great setting because if you enjoy that sort of, background of the Roman legions and that sort of thing, it's a really, really cool game. Now, all of that aside, if I did not know anything about the Warhammer history, lore, backgrounds, IP, any of that stuff, this would still hands down be one of the best games I've played this year because it is phenomenal. Like the Warhammer theme is just icing on the cake for me. If it wasn't even included, I think this would still be a sensational game. So
yeah, it's super exciting. It's right in my wheelhouse in terms of what I like. As soon as if it was like 40k or space or whatever, then I'd just nope right out of it like I did with XCOM or similar. But this looks cool.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of being able to squish people. Squish.
Oh yeah, with magic or actual giants. There's lots of ways to do it. So
yeah, I would, and also what Joey was mentioning around the multiplayer thing, like the whole Total War and that, RTS for me has always been a game that I played by myself. But now this is a game that I enjoy in terms of genre, and I'll be able to play it with you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm super keen to try some multiplayer, Ollie, so we're going to have to fire that up at some point.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to spectate.
Yeah, can we spectate?
Yeah.
That's so badass.
Is there an in-game spectator feature? I assume there must be because it's via Steam.
No.
You guys don't play it. Do you play it via Steam?
Yes.
Yeah, so there must be.
Steam's a bit of a delay though, so you guys would have to not be spoilery. So we can watch it.
I'm about to do this amazing thing. Oh, you're going to have to wait for that.
Guys, LAN party.
We can just watch over your shoulder.
Yeah,
no.
I'm down. I'll do it.
I've been playing the game as the vampire counts, and I just want to quickly share a couple of cool things about that race that are a bit different. The vampires actually have to spread corruption across the map so that when you are holding different areas, your troops don't attrition. It's almost like the undead sort of falling apart in sunlight, if you can think of that kind of theme. So you want them to be in the
I didn't
dark
want to mention
sort of
it
evil
before
territories.
when we were talking about crumbling. They've got some weaknesses. I was like sunlight?
Yeah. Well, I mean, undead, this is exactly how they work in the tabletop game as well. Like, generally because the living dead can't run. Like, they don't feel fear or terror or any psychology. Instead of running away from the battle when their sort of spirit is broken, they actually crumble to dust instead. So, when you're beating off enemy sort of units, they will just turn tail and flee, but the undead don't turn around. They literally just sort of disintegrate.
They fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck this. Poof.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it's a lot easier to do that to them if you manage to kill the leader. So, cut the head off the snake, kill the vampire, then the whole army starts to fall apart. So you really want to protect your general. But the other thing that I found super cool about the vampire counts is that your method of generating your troops, like literally if you sack a city or if you destroy an opposing army, you can raise the dead and replenish your ranks. So you're actually your currency, your resource, if you like, is literally the fallen enemy that you destroy on the battlefield, which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's exactly how they should function. So yeah, but yeah, no,
Sounds
super,
really cool.
super
I'm
enjoying
excited.
it.
I'm ready to jump in.
Yeah, you should.
After I've played our game of the month, which is very important to me.
That is fair. So what have you two been doing while we've been total warring it up?
Minecraft! Woo! I got the itch. So background is I have been watching from the beginning the Achievement Hunter Let's Plays in Minecraft,
Oh,
like
God.
from day dot.
Wow.
Because I
That's
love
a
it.
lot.
I've been watching since probably around episode 100 anyway, from just generally. And so I thought they always refer to like when we did Dig Down or when we did XYZ, and also like when Ray came in and Michael came in and Ryan's involvement. And so I was like, I'm interested in all of this, and so I will watch them all from the beginning. And then we mentioned something in the Minecraft chat that we have on WhatsApp, and I just got the bug and I just needed to play. And Jamie helped oblige me, because the last task that I took up in Minecraft was to hollow out an entire mountain.
Very
and it
ambitious.
turns out that doing that in survival, I went through over 40 pickaxes.
Wow.
And one of those pickaxes, the last sort of 11 or so pickaxes, is a diamond pickaxe of unbreaking. I've gone
Wow.
through
A lot.
11 of those. But luckily when it gets to broken, it just kind of pops back up and you can sort of repair it with other diamond pickaxes. But it just got to the stage where I took the opportunity, and I will admit it freely here, that I went on and I said, look, just to empty out the mountain, not to do anything else, can I please go in creative and just do this, get it done, and then move on to the next stage? And so I did that. And now I'm back in survival and doing all my decorating and monster hunting and everything else. But, oh, I love Minecraft. It's the best. And
I
having
agree.
Jam on there was really good.
I was running around trying to help Ben. So Luke's son Ben jumped on with us.
Oh, that
And we
was
just
so
get
weird.
This text message saying,
All in
"I need
capitals.
your help."
Yeah, all in
like that.
capitals.
All
I
caps.
need your help. And we're
And
like,
I was a long way away. I'm going, okay, I'm on my way. And then he kept dying.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
so-
babysitting my son online, by the way. That was cool.
so Jamie and I are on Mumble, and we're so used to voice chat that we very rarely use Minecraft chat. So when he jumps on, obviously he's not on Mumble because we don't know how to adult properly and not swear. So he doesn't need to be on Mumble. So when he typed the "I need help" all in caps, I said to Jam, I'm like,
What do we do?
And we typed back, are
you okay? And then nothing, no reply.
Because,
So-
he's 6 and he's distracted and busy.
No, I figured he's like his dad. He's just focusing.
Yeah. So
He
when
was
I got
distracted
close,
fighting for his life, as it turned out.
Yeah.
yeah,
so
when
it
I
was
got
like, and then
really
it was like,
close,
Ben
he
gets
started
killed
dying.
shot by a skeleton. We're like, oh, and we're like, hey buddy, like, Tim's like, I'll come try and find you, and it was like, was killed by a zombie, was
I'm going,
blown
"Where
up
are you,
by
Ben?"
creeper. We're like, oh no,
Dead. But
This is bad.
it was cool. And then once I helped him out and we got all his stuff back, there wasn't anything in particular he needed. He just wanted to show me around.
No, I'm
So we were
pretty
just
sure he
running
was going to
around.
kill you. There was some sort of trap involved.
I think he wanted to kill me, but I'd helped him out, so he probably maybe I just happened not to trigger the trap.
Do you know what he's
Yeah.
been talking about since that day at home? He's been talking
What?
about getting you a bunch of diamonds in game for your birthday.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
That is so cute.
He did give me a daisy as a thank you.
There you go.
That was
Such a sweet
lovely.
kid.
You hitting on
And
my
then-
son? You hitting on my son? Is
Oh
that
my
what's happening?
god. So then because I
Wow.
ran all the way back away from my new jungle house, I just started looking around and I thought, maybe I'll build a giant lava pool under Luke's base. So I started digging down there and I got distracted by all this cool shit I found. So then I started making my own other new base. I'm onto my 6th base of operations
At least
now.
you finished the other one, but have you finished the jungle house?
Well, it's not decorated, but it's a house.
I really can't
and there's a
talk. I really
garden.
can't talk about unfinished Minecraft projects,
I know.
to be honest. But I hollowed out a mountain. It
I have
looks
little
really good.
places.
Yeah, I will
And then
share.
I get bored.
Yeah, I will share a picture. I
Yeah.
posted up in the WhatsApp group. So after I finished hollowing it out, I was so happy with my achievement. I took a photo, but because I've needed to set my spawn point, there's just this tiny bed in this massive empty cabin. So I just posted in the Minecraft group like "Forever
Oh.
Alone."
It looks so funny.
She's the
little cactus.
loneliest interior decorator in the game ever.
All time. And so for anyone who plays Minecraft, my bane of my existence is that so my idea inside the mountain is to create a beautiful little biodome on the inside with like a little like a river that runs kind of through, and then there's going to be a second level that will going to be made out of quartz, but then I rethought that and it's going to be white clay, and then there's going to be like a science level. So it was going to be really, really cool. And so the first thing that I did was start trying to get grass into my house, which is going to take the rest of time because I built in the mesa. And then, of course, I started planting trees on the inside. And when they grew, because it's in the mesa, they're all brown and gross. So my beautiful biodome idea is ruined.
Imogen was not impressed.
You're just going to have to get some shears and cut leaves off other trees and transplant it.
I think it still ends up brown, doesn't it? Because the biome determines the shade.
Yeah, I think
how
you're
green.
right.
Like you can only get really green leaves in jungle.
That's unfortunate.
So there are going to have to be lots of flowers, and hopefully the grass is greenish enough to kind of give the full effect. I don't know. It's probably going to turn all of my little ponds into swamps, and there's going to be slimes everywhere, and it's going to be the worst.
I was going to say you can build some slime trees and just make them bouncy trampolines at the same time. That'd be kind of cool.
Just build it all out of wool.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, green wool. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea as well, guys. We're going to have to start breeding sheep now. Oh, good. That's going to be so fun.
That's okay. There's one little gem sheep down near Sam's place. He's just like disco coloured.
Disco sheep.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Nice. So
Anyway,
you both think you'll be
great
kicking on with some more Minecraft during the upcoming
man,
week? Or?
I'm super keen to jump on Minecraft after this. I'm all pumped about Minecraft.
Nice. All right, well, I think Ollie and I are going to do some Overwatching, but hey, we're all keen to go and do some gaming, so we should probably wrap up and do just that. So, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to check us out in all the usual places online, you can do so. Our main show blog is at partyloaded.com. Find us on Twitter at partyloadedshow, on Facebook at facebook.com/partyloaded, and you can mail us at mail@partyloaded.com. And we'll be back again, same time next week for the next exciting installment of probably E3 stuff. That's going to be the big thing coming up. So lots of new announcements and nuggets of information and game trailers and previews. Announcements of announcements.
Oh, there might be the actual announcements.
We've got that special Australian broadcast of E3 for, I've forgotten who it is now. But they announced they're going to have a special showcase in Australia, in Sydney, which people will be attending. So that'll be interesting. Someone we talked about last week, and I've forgotten the name.
Maybe we can stream it on the land down under.
No.
All right. That's us. Good night. See you next week, everyone.
Night night.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.